Oh, hey everyone, Andy here at Boomer TV in the studio. Alan Steinfeld is our host today, author of the upcoming book from St. Martin's Press called Making Contact, The New Realities of Extraterrestrial Existence. You can be part of this amazing journey on the boomerboomer.com platform that will launch you toward the happiest life you want after 55. And now, Alan Steinfeld.
Thanks, Andy. It's great to be back on this program. And I think it's been 3 episodes so far that we've done here. Where I'm trying to talk about what actually the modern UFO movement is and what that means, and how do we contextualize a culture that's waking up to something beyond this realm. How do we get beyond the conditioning of our science, which is great, but they will only tell you what they know. They will not tell you what they don't know. And they don't know what's really going on in the skies. They write it off. Oh, sometimes you see a news report and they're laughing and saying, yep, there's some strange lights in the sky. But in the last 2 episodes, I talked about how finally the government is coming forward and saying that it looks like, guess what, we have company. You know what it's like when company shows up unexpected. That's what we're going through now, although many people have expected it. So I thought I'd back up a little bit and step away from what's happening right now to give a little history of the phenomena and our relationship to the unknown. How do we think about, in the past, how have we thought about what extraterrestrials, UFOs, whatever that is out there really is? And of course, some people think these lights in the sky, and I've seen them, and hundreds of thousands of people around the world have seen unidentified lights in the sky that was not Venus, it was not a meteor, it was not anything that could be explained from what we know of reality. I'm not saying they were spaceships from outer space, but I'm not saying that they weren't. So something's going on that's not explainable. And what science generally does, if they can't explain it, they ignore it. And that's what's been happening since Roswell. I'm going to show you a picture of, let me see if I can find it, the Roswell headlines. Here we go. This is a headline. Let me just go here to play slideshow, presenters view. Okay. 1947, July 2nd, 3rd, there's a ship, or what they was called a flying saucer, that crashed outside of Roswell. And you can see here, no details of flying disc are revealed. The following day, and I should show that headline, the government says, whoops, no, that was just a weather balloon. We were mistaken. And so we start the cover-up of what's been going on for a long time, is that that there's something else in our sky. So this is all in preparation for a book I am doing, and this is the book called Making Contact, Preparing for the New Realities of Extraterrestrial Existence, coming out from Amazon on St. Martin Press, May of 2021. And this is a collection of some of the best minds in the field talking about the phenomena. And so I call it the New Realities of Extraterrestrial Existence because I've been talking about the nature of reality as a shift in consciousness, and UFOs are definitely a shift in consciousness. And New Realities was the name of this program that I started on Manhattan Cable, which interviews a lot of people about this change in consciousness, if you want to call that consciousness. I don't want to lose anyone too fast, but we're we're really talking about this. This is another way of looking at new realities, this new realities of, which means how do we think differently? How does the mind shift into understanding something outside their scope of learning, really? So I talked about 1947 Roswell. A week before Roswell, there was this event. This was a flying disc. And let me just go back out of, anyway, this was a flying disc by Kenneth Arnold, seen over Mount Rainier, northwest Washington. And there were 7 of these skipping along. And he said that looks like a flying saucer. And that's where the name saucer stuck. And that's why we get the headlines of the Roswell paper that says a week later, this is June 24th, 1947. A week later in New Mexico, we get this headline, that means the RAF Air Force, something, not the Royal Academy Air Force. Anyway, it says flying saucer there because that's how they referred to these discs in the sky. So a week later, we get this headline. The following day, the government comes out and says, no, it really wasn't a flying saucer. It was a weather balloon. And that was the beginning of this cover-up. So I want to go deeper into what's really going on. A lot of people say nothing's going on. And this is one of my favorite cartoons about that. This alien lands, he puts his hand out, and people don't notice him because they're so absorbed in their iPhones that there's no need. They just don't have any need for that kind of contact. But in general, I'll show you this statistic. AOL in August 2008 says that 81% of people believe the Earth has been visited by aliens. CNN, 1997, 80% of Americans thinks the government is hiding knowledge of the existence of extraterrestrials. Life magazine, 2000, says 65% of the people believe in UFOs. And then this other poll from ITV in the UK says 92% of the people surveyed believe that extraterrestrials exist, plus or minus 6%. Anyway, we get the majority of people think there's something going on that we have been oblivious to, and there's many intelligent people trying to understand what that is. One of my favorite responses was by this guy, Terence McKenna, who says, "We are part of a symbiotic relationship with something which disguises itself as an extraterrestrial invasion, so as not to alarm us." He's kind of joking, saying, what is it that's really going on? Who's out there? And if it's not an extraterrestrial invasion, then what is it? So that brings me back to this slide, which someone asked on the show last week. Some people say that it can't be intelligent because it doesn't attack us. That was a question. Someone says, why don't these ships come down and attack us? And if they don't attack us, according to this quote, they can't be very intelligent. But, that is not a very intelligent way to operate. Attack. I would think any beings that have traveled halfway or more across the galaxy is not here to attack us. But that's all people can think, because that's the paradigm we live in, of war and aggression and all that. This is what has to change in this new era, in this new awakening of meeting the other. So really, I'm doing this program as a preparation for people not to be shocked when they see something, when they have a vision, when they possibly encounter something from another realm, because it seems like there's more and more of these events happening, I say. I love this one story. Jeffrey Kreifel, he wrote a book with Whitley Strieber, one of my favorite authors. He says, it's time to tell a better story about the whole pantheon, the unknown, the gods, the miracles, the angels, the demons, aliens, mysterious objects in the sky. We need a new story. And the new story does not look like anything that we have known before. It's something we are creating. That's why I call the book Making Contact, because it's a process of making that is going to be the new story. How do we make contact, and how is that sustained? And it doesn't come from fear. It comes from having a bigger picture of who we are in the context of creation. And I'll show you this favorite quote of mine by Renee Marie Rilke, famous German poet, but just probably one of the best poets of the 20th century, one of the most popular poets in all languages. He says, "A billion stars go spinning through the night, glittering above your head, but in you is the presence that will be when all the stars are dead." So the eternal presence is what we are, and that's the new story. That's the new way of thinking. That's the way we're going to meet these beings on an even playing field, by recognizing there's an equality of intelligence. So this is a part of our evolution. Most people think our evolution is this, going from apes to standing creatures to some guy sitting at a computer. I think this is our evolution. We're in the process of changing our actual molecular structure. So how do we think differently? By considering the possibilities that there's more in this universe. We're like this fish jumping out of our isolated fishbowl into a bigger fishbowl that's more populated. So we're about to find out that there is more to creation than what we've originally been taught to believe by our scientists, because our scientists, they know something, but they obviously are looking in the wrong places, because between 2001 and 2015, there were 100,000 UFO reported sightings in the US alone. And this is from only 2 reporting centers. That was from the National UFO Reporting Center in Seattle, and from MUFON, which is the Mutual UFO Network. And they take calls all the time of people who've seen things. So yes, a lot of those things may have been explainable objects, but there is probably a fair amount, or even a small amount, that wasn't explainable in any way. And many people, and I showed that, and I'll show next week the New York Times article where it was finally acknowledged by the Pentagon that we are being visited. But one of the most important people, I think, who helped shift the idea of contact was this guy, John Mack. John Mack, who I'm having a little cup of coffee with here, was a Harvard psychiatrist, a psychiatrist at the Harvard Medical School. He was actually the head of psychiatry at the Harvard Medical School. So that's Harvard credentials, who ended up talking to people who claimed to have contact with these other beings. And instead of saying they were crazy, he said, we are dealing with a phenomenon which violates our sense of reality and operates in this gray area between the physical world and the subjective. This phenomena will not yield its secrets until we discover other ways of knowing. That is the key, and that's something I'm going to be talking more and more about on this upcoming programs. Other ways of knowing. That means we think there's only one way to know with our linear mechanistic mind that we've been taught to think is the way we should look at the world. But look at this. This is what we're taught in school on the left here. From the time we're 5 years old, we're taught ABC 1, 2, 3, and we think that's how the world is. This is what we come in with, this other way of knowing, this creative imagination for shapes and objects and patterns and colors, This is the greater mind. This is the way we're going to have to know what these ETs are. We're going to have to understand this way of thinking. So, and then we can meet the other, and we can meet these beings. We can get initiated into an awakening of a greater conscious mind. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to wake up to, the greater mind. This is another image of that greater mind that I showed before. So that's where I'm going to, that's the kind of outline of these programs, that we are here to know that we are the greater mind, that we're part of something bigger. We are the universe expressing itself as a human for a while. So just to kind of catch people up on where we're at, I'm going to give us a perspective about what may be the alien situation and our relationship to the cosmos. Okay, here we are. It's the Earth, sunrise over Africa, actually, but very nice planet, very suitable for life, I would say. And here's the Earth in relationship to the inner planets. I'm giving a perspective on how life could exist in the rest of the cosmos. Okay? It's the Earth. Actually, Earth is a lot bigger than Mars, which may or may not have life. Venus, people think it has life, but this is just size. I'm just really talking about size, and I'm speculating all that. So look at the Earth there, okay? Look at the Earth now in relationship to Jupiter. It's about 100 Earths. And, right? And the Jupiter's about, I don't know, it's about 10% of the size of the sun itself. This is the Earth, and that is the sun. No, Jupiter's a lot smaller than the sun. That's Jupiter. This is the little dot, here's the Earth. This is our sun. So, okay, from that sun, okay, this is our sun in comparison to some of the local stars. Look how big Arcturus is. And most of these stars, suns, have planets around them. Okay, that's Arcturus right there. That's a big star. Okay, now let's see, where was Arcturus? These are this little dot here, I think, is our sun, and these are some of the even bigger stars that are out there. So that's just our local neighborhood, and this is what it looks like as we look out in space with like the Hubble telescope. We're seeing this kind of, well, really, it's 100 billion stars in our galaxy, 100 billion. And it takes our sun 240 million years to circulate around the Milky Way, right? All right. So we can't even see, it's not even a speck of dust, our planet, our little world that we are standing on right now, or sitting on, laying down. It's not, you can't even see our sun. I mean, this is not necessarily our galaxy, but they think our galaxy is one of these spiral galaxies that look like this. This is the I think 91 galaxy, which is not that far. So, okay, there is that. And now this is a picture of a collection of galaxies. Oh no, that's not the galaxy. That's the stars from the Hubble. This is the galaxies. All these on the right side here, all these little dots are galaxies with 100 million stars. And this is us sitting inside our own little mind, thinking we're the center of the universe. So, are we the center of the universe? Because you can't even guess how tiny we are within the infinity of space. So, who's the center of the universe then, right? Which one of those thousands moving? Okay, our galaxy is part of the something called the Virgo cluster of galaxies. But anyway, this is what I want people to think about. If they think there's a center of the world, well, in a way they are. I have to say it's both. You are the center of the world, and you're not. So that is also part of the new way of thinking. How can you be the center of the world and be so insignificant within the eternity of existence. One more slide about insignificance is this. This is called a little blue dot. This was taken by Voyager 2 as it left the solar system. And this little arrow here is pointing to a little blue dot, which is Earth in its orbit around the sun. And that was right before Voyager was out of range of taking any pictures of our solar system. So getting back to the point that we are both the center of the universe and not, and we have to keep all that in balance. You know, we have to keep the perspective of being both the center and not the center. This gets over our self-importance. We have to, as this slide said, be humble, for you're made of the earth, be noble, for you're made of the stars. We're both these aspects of duality, right? We are adventurers in the unknown. So if there are 5 to 10 times more stars in the known universe than all the grains of sand on all the beaches in the world. But a single grain of sand has more atoms in all the stars in the known universe. But just getting back to that first line, there are more stars in the universe, and this is just this universe, than all the grains of sand on all the beaches in the world. Just think of how much sand you take home in your pockets from the beach on a weekend. But no, really, that is unfathomable. That is unfathomable, but that is the calculation. And not only that, every star has planets, and every planet has a potential for life. And I say there's a lot more life out there than we can imagine. And if there's that much life out there, then some are probably more evolved than us. And I would say that they are here visiting us. But we have to overcome what Schopenhauer said are the three great truths. All truths pass through 3 stages, right? First, it's ridiculed, then it's opposed, and then it's accepted as self-evident. This is Arthur Schopenhauer, a German philosopher. That goes to everything that we have known about the myths of the earth. The earth was flat. Some people said, no, it's round. That were laughed at. Other people said the earth is the center of creation. Other people say, no, the earth is not the center. It goes around the sun. And they were opposed for hundreds of years, put in jail and banned, like Copernicus and Galileo. And the third myth of the earth is the only place in the universe with intelligent life. And that is the myth we are overcoming now. And that's really what I want to delve into in these upcoming programs. That who are you going to believe? People who have seen and have had experiences, or people who haven't had experiences, who just are assuming that we are the lonely freaks of a lifeless universe, you know? So this is what we're up against. Are we alone, or is the universe full of possibilities? I think we're not alone. And I think we've been visited, and I think they're here, and I think they're here to wake us up. And we're here to be available to that level of contact. That's what making contact is about. This was one of my favorite investigators in the field, not that. This is one of my favorite investigators in the field, Bud Hopkins. He said, the purpose of science is to investigate the unexplained, not explain the uninvestigated. And that's what our modern scientists are doing when they write off the fact that we are being visited. And we're not only being visited, I will show this. Those beings might be us. It's a little joke, but who knows? Some people say our genetics was changed, our genetic makeup was changed from the evolving primates to be a really different breed of animals on planet Earth. So that sort of covers a kind of introduction to why I think we're not alone, because it's vast. It's, what's here, what the elements that make up the earth probably make up a lot of places. We're not different than the hundreds of billions of planets that are out there. And why should we be? Because, know, think of life itself grows between the sidewalk, cracks in the sidewalk, it's everywhere. It's a natural emergent property of existence. So I'll just leave you with that for now, because I just wanted to plant some seeds of possibility. And maybe I'll show you one more slide. I'll show you one more slide right here. That is this slide. Just show you where we're going in the next couple of weeks. Was this slide. I don't know if you can see that. Let me blow this up. Okay, wait, let me see. Oh, okay. Sharing stopped. Okay, wait. Let's share again one more time. Oh, yeah, this is the last slide I'm going to show, and then we'll. Okay. This is a memorandum by the FBI, 1950, March 22nd, 1950. It says, an investigator for the Air Force stated that 3 so-called flying saucers had been recovered in New Mexico. They were described as being circular in shape with raised centers approximately 50 feet in diameter. Each one was occupied by 3 bodies of human shape, but only 3 feet tall, dressed in metallic cloth of a very fine nature. Each body was bandaged in the manner similar to the blackout suits used by speed flyers and pilots. According to Mr. Redacted informant, the sources were found in New Mexico due to the fact that the government has very high-powered radio setups in that area, and it's believed that the radio interfered with the controlling mechanisms of the saucer. No further evaluation was attempted by whoever that was concerning the above. Anyway, this is the FBI website. I go to the vault, that's the FBI website, or just type in FBI website and you'll see the vault, and look up UFOs. You'll see this document that is actually the most looked at document in all of the FBI online files. And I saw a news program about this, and they said, why are people looking at this? Why aren't they looking at all the great criminals that the FBI has caught? Because this is a lot more interesting. And this is, I wouldn't say proof, but it's a document that from intelligence, agencies, that we have been visited. So I'll leave you with that. And that's very basic. Of course, people go deep into this subject, and this is like first grade, to just get in a good way. For people who don't know anything about any of this, this is a kind of step into just opening your mind to new realities. Okay, Andy, is any questions?
Yeah, there was one from Esther. She thinks she heard that the Chinese are starting to investigate space and wonders if that's going to change things any.
Yeah, the Chinese, the French, the Russians have been doing that. Yeah, I think it will change. The more governments get involved in investigations, the more pressure it is on the U.S. government to start to show the secret documents that they've been hiding. So yeah, hopefully that will change things. And it's any day or any year now, this stuff is gonna just open up in a whole wide ranging field. It's not going to be a secret for too much longer.
Robert has a question. He wonders if the fact that we think of ourselves as the center of the universe has maybe held back our understanding of space.
Absolutely. It's not only held back our understanding of space, it's been so programmed into us that we can't even accept the fact that we're not the center of the universe, that we're not the great species. You know, they call the three insults to man was that that we're not the center of the universe, that that there might be more intelligent beings than us. And the other thing is that we're ruled by our subconscious, really, that we're not the center of the universe. Freud said we're ruled by other forces besides our conscious mind. And we might not be the smartest guy on the block. So, yeah, that is one of the reasons the government's not telling us, because we live in a myth that we are somehow the best and the brightest and the smartest. And what if we weren't? Well, that's a reality we're going to have to face, but it's a sobering reality. It means we can't be involved in, you know, what the human's favorite pastime has been, don't you? It's tribal warfare. This is what the favorite pastime on humans on planet Earth. So it's time to grow up and meet the other on an even playing field. Why not, right?
Yeah. Well, Alan, it's really been great, and the pictures are good. So thank you so much.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you like it. Okay, now that's just that I kind of took a couple of steps back. That's a real introduction to, you know, what might be out there. But I just wanted to kind of set that as a kind of basis so we can move forward in the series. Okay.
Sounds good. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks for everything. Talk to you soon.
Okay, Alan. Thank you for watching. Alan Steinfeld, author of the upcoming book from St. Martin's Press called Making Contact, The New Realities of Extraterrestrial Existence. You can be part of the amazing journey at boomerboomer.com and launch us towards the happiest life that you want after 55.